What is up, you guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video. Now, I know we've been doing a lot of videos in and around the pandemic recently, but can you really blame us? It's the most relevant thing going on right now. It is our unfortunate reality, and I honestly can't go a day without seeing or hearing the words coronavirus, COVID-19 and pandemic. So with that in mind, let's just learn. These are the top 10 countries most affected by the global crisis. Starting us off at number 10 is Italy. Poor Italia is starting us off because despite the country's small size, they've had the second highest number of cases at 101,739 and the highest number of deaths at 11,591. Now, I just want to preface this that I wrote the script for this video obviously before the video is about to go up, so the numbers will vary. These were the numbers accurate on the day that I wrote this. Their death toll is increasing the quickest. Literally every day I wake up and I read a new headline saying 812 people died overnight in Italy. They're at about a 10% death rate in terms of the number of cases identified. From March 23rd to March 30th, they gained over 30,000 more cases. They also now have over 6,000 healthcare workers who have tested positive for the virus, which honestly breaks my heart. Such a huge shout out has to go to all the frontline workers, and I'm not just talking about the healthcare center, I'm talking about the cashiers at your grocery stores and pharmacies, people in the service industry still working to allow us to take out food or get it delivered. Enough thanks cannot be said to all these people, but I hope they know that we do appreciate that. Because we do. Coming in at number 9 is Spain. I feel like most people aren't thinking of Spain as one of the most affected countries right now, but they really should be. They're the third highest in terms of cases at 85,195, and their death toll is at 7,340. In the space of a week, their number of cases quadrupled and their death toll multiplied by 6. Like, those aren't small margins at all. After the number of cases overtook China, the Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez put in extreme lockdown measures, meaning anyone who isn't an essential worker has to stay home till April 9th. The worst part of it is that most of these cases weren't really even people coming from abroad. It was a case of a few super spreaders starting the transmission at home and then it creating a snowball effect from there. At number 8 we have Iran. Now, although there are other countries that have more confirmed positive cases than Iran, their ratio of number of cases and deaths is higher than the other countries. At a confirmed number of 41,495 cases, they have about 2,757 deaths, which is a 6% death rate so far. Iran has the worst coronavirus outbreak in the region, but the real backlash President Hassan Rouhani is facing is due to the way he's politically responded to the virus. I'm telling you guys, politics is so heavily involved in this pandemic, it's not even funny. Iran is already under heavy US sanctions, meaning it can't sell oil on the international markets. And most countries hit hard with the pandemic are already struggling to find a way of keeping their economies afloat while everything goes on lockdown. Do you guys think the US should lift its sanctions on Iran for the time being? Let me know in the comments below, and if you also don't care about the sanctions, you can let me know too. Filling on our 7th slot is France. Since France is in close proximity to Italy and Spain, it's only a given the bordering countries were going to be hit hard if one of them was. At 44,550 confirmed cases, the death toll in France right now is at 3,024, but they also have the highest percentage of cases that are in serious or critical condition at a whopping 15%. Thankfully, China's been sending cargo planes to France containing 5.5 million masks for medical workers, which I mean is amazing on China's part. Every day for the next 2 weeks, a Chinese cargo plane will land at Charles de Gaulle Airport carrying 10 million masks and 100 tons of medical equipment. So I mean, the French are taking serious and positive measures to try and equip themselves as much as they possibly can against this outbreak, and what else can you really do? You're doing your best, sweetie, that's all you can. Now at number 6 is Turkey. Now, although Switzerland has about 5,000 more cases than Turkey, comparatively Turkey has double the deaths and less infected. At 10,827 positive cases, they've had about 168 deaths so far, which is around 10% of everyone infected, with 5% of them being in serious or critical condition. It took 4 days for their cases to more than quadruple in number, which is no joking matter. In one day, they managed to test nearly 10,000 people, so the war effort is definitely there. Politically, the infamously hated President Erdogan has not imposed a proper lockdown. He's only switched private and public sectors to a more flexible schedule with a lot less personnel. He's still allowing domestic travel as well. His biggest opposition, the Republican People's Party, are pushing for a stricter nationwide lockdown, and I would 100% agree with them. President Erdogan, what are you doing? Coming in at number 5 is Belgium, another one that you wouldn't really think to think of off the top of your head. Belgium has 11,899 confirmed cases so far with 513 deaths, with 9% of those people in critical or serious condition as we speak. Between March 24th and 28th, their cases more than double from 4,269 all the way to 9,134 in 4 bloody days. Their lockdown is in place until the 19th of April, and they started their lockdown on the 18th of March, so I feel like they started it early enough that they could decrease the number of cases before they even hit their peak, so at least that's a good thing. I'm sad to say even a cat in Belgium contracted COVID from their owner, and that one, my friend, hurt me personally. It really did. Got me in the heart. At number 4 are the Netherlands. At 11,750 confirmed cases and 864 deaths, the Netherlands currently have 10% of those people in serious or critical condition. They don't have the highest number of cases or death toll, but that's because the spread hasn't reached its peak in this country yet. Most countries on this list have had their upward trajectory and their peak behind them, but the Netherlands are a few weeks behind, which means the cases and deaths are just going to rise, which is not something anyone wants to hear. Prime Minister Mark Rutte has taken an interesting approach to the virus by basically saying he wants the population to build immunity to COVID by letting large parts of the population contract it at a controlled pace. Of course, he's not letting the high-risk population contract it, it's the younger people, of course, it's all of us that are getting it. I really want to see if this works. I feel like it won't, but I mean, never say never. Filling number 3 slot is the UK. The UK are really in the right now, are they not? Boris Johnson has truly lost the plot, and I feel like the biggest irony or karma is the fact that he tested positive for the virus. At 22,141 confirmed cases and 1,408 deaths, the UK hasn't been hit the hardest, and only 1% of the cases are in critical condition, but nearly 1,000 people are being hospitalized every day, which is still a lot of people. I don't think people realize how serious all this is. I've seen so many news anchors encouraging people to stay at home if they can so casually instead of really advocating it as a necessary measure. Locals came out at 8 p.m. a few nights ago to clap for the NHS, and one NHS worker responded to it on Twitter saying, instead of clapping, which does nothing, how about everyone stays inside? And I mean, you're not wrong. Those are straight facts. And I love how it's the same NHS workers that Boris refused to increase wages for being the ones now expected to save the day and save him. Now at number 2 is the US. Now the US takes the top spot in terms of how many confirmed cases they have at a whopping 143,532 with 2,572 deaths. I mean, firstly, I feel like the number of cases are high because not everyone is taking the pandemic seriously, or they're definitely not taking self-quarantine and isolation seriously. I've seen countless snaps and Instagram stories and tweets about Americans still going on their spring break vacations simply because they booked it months ago. How can they miss it? FOMO. Now, of course, that doesn't speak for the whole population, and I know a lot of people are quarantining properly. It doesn't help that Trump fired his whole pandemic response team and then claimed he had no idea who fired them. And the fact he also refused COVID-19 testing kits from the World Health Organization is just another slap on the back, really. Not a good one. It's a slap in the face. And finally, at number 1 is China. Now, there are many reasons I put China at the top of this list, despite them not even having the highest cases or death count. Firstly, the entire pandemic originated in Wuhan and then spread to the rest of the country, so it was China that was hit really badly with it in the beginning. They were the ones who implemented the first travel ban, the first lockdown, they had the first deaths, they are the epicenter of this pandemic. Not to mention all the horrible racist press reporting on the issue at the start, the US president even calling it the Chinese virus. China was absolutely battered for introducing their lockdown and travel ban, saying it was literally just too strict. They were criminalized for doing so. And it's funny how now the rest of the world is following suit in their example, and it's them who've closed their borders to us now. They still had the 4th highest number of cases at 82,198 and 3,308 deaths, so I mean, it really did ravage them. It did not take them lightly. China is at the top because I also feel like their international reputation is also really set back by this. I told you, politics matters, people. And that is it for today's video, guys. Honestly, COVID is taking its toll. I'm not gonna lie. It's very boring being at home all the time. There's only so many times you can Skype your friends or FaceTime them or call them. I hope everyone is staying strong. I'm giving you my positive vibes even though I don't have any right now. Stay safe, and as always, I've been your host, Eamon Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.